The record companies. The realization of new media/internet technology has impacted on the media entertainment industry like no other. Present major record companies have remained relatively unchanged in their structure, even though we have seen certain advancements in digital technologies over recent years. The high cost of product creation and the rules of copyright and licensing laws, along with the ubiquitous distribution networks in their markets, have always ensured their monopoly. So a highly structured, competitive, top-down company with a tightly integrated oligopoly in regards to production, ownership, and distribution has always acted as a restriction to most artists' entry. This monopoly, though, has now been challenged by the advent of the Internet and has shifted the supplier-distributor relationship from a hierarchical structure to a more open structure. Traditional roles of manufacturing, distribution, and retail have now to be fundamentally redefined. The intrinsic quality of the Internet and its nature has ensured this and its ability as a platform to support various competing applications, and media further impact its potential growth in regards to new media distribution. This gain redefines the economics of the present media entertainment industry from a high-cost entry system to a low-cost entry in regard to the production process, market branding, and distribution. Further barriers to entry have also been reduced that usually were associated with vertical and horizontal integration within the entertainment industry. Reducing entry barriers and increasing the nature of downstream outlets has impacted on the present media industry like an avalanche. This has provided upstream actors with enormous potential for control over the content, ownership, production, and distribution of their product. The threat overall for the record companies at present is that they could be bypassed altogether by the downstream and upstream markets that are currently emerging. This legacy paradox, whereby traditional firms with legacy systems characterized by high investment and facing emerging technology explosions, ultimately face a competitive disadvantage compared to the new breed of entrants. So far, the traditional players have attempted to impose existing rules and processes on the new medium in order to gain power over the market. Using their legal systems, they have attempted to create barriers to entry, restricting availability of product and the use of available technology, whilst they develop and propose systems and technology to protect their control of the markets. The result has been that they have had little effect or presence in the emerging race to distribute new media, allowing people such as AOL, Microsoft, emusic.com, and mp3.com to fill the vacuum and aggressively build the infrastructure needed for the marketing, distribution, and retail of online music. PeopleSound.com recently interviewed traditional A&R staff from major record companies in London, and some of the feedback has been quite revealing. Nathan Thompson from Island Records uses the internet primarily for searching for new acts, and feels that high-pressure music sites suffer from the pressure of having to have a huge amount of music on their servers to attract users. He hopes that good music will come through and that it won't all be about market share or how many bands are on the site. Nathan doesn't dismiss the net entirely, and he mentions that it is indeed a good way for people to put out music if they can't afford to put out records. He also thinks it's useful for the record industry to find out about new music. His conclusion is that he doesn't feel he can find that person to work with over the internet, and that is the thrill of his job. He goes on to say, "I just don't think you can have the one-to-one contact with the artist over the internet." Charlie Zacks, who works in the A&R department of Independiente, thinks that the reports of the industry's death are over-exaggerated. I don't think it will happen in the next 20 years. She says, things are happening faster in America, but Europe's always been much slower. Charlie sees the internet as an opportunity rather than a threat. She relates it to being another marketing tool, a sales tool, or a purchasing tool. She feels that ultimately it will be the retailers that lose out. When questioned on the high price of the product in Europe, she stated that it's not necessarily the fault of the record companies. We do our deals with the shops, and then it's up to them. If they want to sell a CD at 16 quid and maybe sell fewer but make more money, that's up to them. It doesn't mean that we'll get any more money, we just get the rap for it. Like her counterpart at Island, she feels that her job is secure and that you can't have that interpersonal relationship over the internet. The internet will just be another tool for scouting. It won't take over.